Hey everybody, Bud Brown here. Supposed to meet the old dog Paul Magill here. We can lie to each other for a few hours. He said be here or be square, so I did want to be square. This is a beautiful restaurant, by the way. Nice breeze. Uh-oh. I see ya. Thought that may have been him. I guess it was just an old Oscar street dog running through here. I wonder if he's hiding behind these bushes. I don't see him. There's so many old gray-headed Americans. Oh Lord! I said I'm looking for an old white-headed Americano, but there's so many of them around here that, you know, who knows. Thought I saw you earlier, but then it was just an old street dog that was running through here. You know, where you at, up here?
Yeah, come on up.
Okay.
I'll buy you an overpriced young dog.
This is going to be a hoot.
You ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Okay. Alrighty, kids. As I've said in the little introduction I did, I am here with the infamous Bud Brown. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the Philippines.
I've been looking forward to it.
All right, so I'm going to give a little backstory. 2 years ago, to the day, April 6th, right?
April 6th.
I was waving goodbye to you at Dumaguete Airport.
Yeah.
And then 2 years, and I said,
yeah,
drive faster, me, I kept saying. Don't let them miss the plane. And so we got him there 4 hours early.
Yeah.
And watched the plane take off to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
And then 2 years to the day, April 6th, you landed back there in the old Filipinos.
Yeah, that's 2023 and returned 2025.
All right. Yeah. So here's my question for you to start this rodeo.
Oh, wait a minute, but first, before we start, I want to congratulate you on the trophy. I mean, getting a gold trophy is just an amazing thing. It's something to be proud of.
That's fantastic. I got a silver one.
You didn't get a gold?
No, gold's way up there.
Oh, well, you know, don't give up.
No,
that's my advice to you. Don't give up. Just keep plugging. You'll make it one day.
Well, I'm sure with your guidance, I'll maybe reach your level.
All right.
You know, I've never shown that on my channel, ever.
Yeah. Well,
because, well, I'll just never.
Well, he's done it. Seriously, you know, that is an accomplishment, you know. So.
Well, thank you, bud.
Yeah.
What was I talking about before you rudely interrupted?
I was never paying attention anyway.
That's true. So why is my question? Why did you leave the Philippines 2 years ago?
Okay. We had been in the Philippines 12 long, no. The first 10 years was fantastic. The last 2 years, I think I explained at the time, there's these little disadvantages, little rubs, little inconveniences. I call them pebbles in the shoe.
Very good way to put it.
And each one in itself is not a deal breaker.
Correct.
You know, so you can walk with a pebble in your shoe with a little limp. But, well, no comments on that. But if you get several pebbles in the shoe, then it almost becomes unbearable. And so, and I know it's very ambiguous, but I'm talking about you know, the ones that come here have been here a little while. You know what I'm talking about. I do love the Philippines. Especially I love Dumaguete.
Okay.
And just to get off just a little bit, when I first got here, I went to a coffee shop. This was a couple days ago, and I heard one foreigner tell another foreigner, "Welcome to paradise." And I thought to myself, you know, paradise is like 100% perfect.
Right.
I would say, welcome to Dumaguete.
Yeah.
Huh? Welcome to Dumaguete. So, with all that entails, you know?
Exactly.
It's not paradise that there's nothing that goes wrong.
Right.
No, but
if it was paradise, everyone would live here.
Yeah.
That's correct.
It's all part of the package.
So was that the primary thing? Did you kind of reach burnout?
Well, we were at the
what else was
level
another motivation?
Yeah. Our children at that time had said, "Mom, Dad, you've been gone too long. You've been gone 12 years. We miss you here."
Okay.
And I found out later, they kind of thought that we were on our last legs. I don't know why it was given that impression, but I can't disagree with them. well,
some smart kids you raised there, pal.
Come stay with us.
Very observant.
I've got legs, but they're not the last ones. They said, "Don't worry about anything. You're going to have no bills." Of course, that perked my ears up right there, you know.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah,
got a place to stay.
Yeah.
I thought, well, you know, that
sounds enticing.
Yeah, and it would be a good break anyway.
Sure. So you get to go mooch off the kids for a while.
Mooch off the kids.
Well, hey, you raised them.
Time,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we did move to Campo, California, which is high desert, and we enjoyed it there for a little while. But we realized, I don't know if I'm breaking into another question or not, but that's the main reason. I guess two big reasons. I'll just stop here.
Okay.
It is that we were just ready. We were ready for a break.
You needed a change.
And we needed a change, and then our kids offered that change.
Okay. So it was a two-pronged, actually, answer.
Yeah.
Is A, you needed a break. You needed a vacation from your vacation, and number two, family. I mean, you know, I can't think of two better reasons to go back and see your kids. Tell me a little bit, because I haven't been back in a while, and I keep hearing all these stories about America. What was the vibe like in America, or how was an average day? And what was the biggest shock to you, if there was one, about America? How had it changed a lot in 12 years? That's a long vacation, bro.
Yeah.
So what was different about America, if anything?
I did feel like Rip Van Winkle, you know, asleep, wake up, and different, mostly technology.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready to write things on a piece of paper. The kids said, "Oh, don't, you know, or where do I store this?" "No, just take a picture of it."
Right.
Well, store it in your smartphone or whatever. Oh, okay. And then here's a good. We went to a store. And I had the same Citibank debit card I've had for years and years. And just tapped the card.
And just for the record, what's your PIN number?
I forgot.
So you went somewhere with a Citibank card.
Yeah. And the cashier says, I said, "You take debit card?" Because here, as you know, cash is king.
Cash is king.
So I said, "Just tap your card." And I've got the card. I'm singing, tap the card. Yeah, just
You're literally tapping the card.
Yeah, tap the card. What do I know? I've been in a cave for 12 years. You know. She says, "No, you tap it on the thing, on the machine." Oh man, that's the way. That's a very good example of the way things had continued. You know, you tap, tap that. Oh, I see.
Okay.
And then, of course, being very comfortable here, you adapt certain habits and certain things that make things go smooth here.
Especially after 12 years, you get a certain routine.
Right, and you learn you don't give big bills. Come on, you know, you don't give big bills to little vendors here, or even hotels and stuff. I Essentia, was it? No, there's another one. But anyway, I went to pay for a couple cups of coffee. I thought, well, sir, do you have anything small? No, I don't. And then she went around to the different employees, and they're pulling out, change.
We just went through that upstairs with me because I didn't have change, and so they had to go race around because unfortunately I only had 1,000 peso note for 3 cups of coffee, and they had to run around and get change. And we're at a nice hotel, so you would think that. Is that your parole officer?
Yeah. I told her, don't be calling me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bye. Wrong number. I hate it.
I hate that. All right, so you're in California. You're in the high desert.
One of the first time we go out, Walmart, because Gloria missed Walmart so much, you know.
Right.
So I said, okay, go for it. Here's a $100 bill.
Yeah.
Go for it. So there's a McDonald's on the side, so I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and I get a phone call like this, and she said, honey, I need you to come to the cashier. You know what I'm thinking? Sir, do you have anything smaller? This is what I'm thinking. I go, the cashier's got this $100 bill.
We just went through that. Yeah.
You know what she said?
What?
Not enough.
Not enough.
That says it all. Right there. Not enough. Oh my gosh. I said, oh, we're in trouble.
Did you have sticker shock when you got over there?
Definitely.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So out here, you can live on X amount of dollars per month. And we won't mention numbers, but it's a personal issue.
Right.
But out there, if you were to live the same lifestyle without living with the kids, would you double it, triple it, quadruple it? What would you do? I mean,
well,
just
honestly,
round numbers.
I would say, probably $3,000 to $4,000 a month.
Okay.
The minimum.
That would be rent. Would you have a car?
Even with that, you may have to add more than that.
What was the best thing about being in America?
Well, the health care was good. And maybe people have different feelings about this. No, because we're on Medicare, we were taking care of the health-wise.
And you got a whole bunch of stuff.
We got a lot of tests done. We had a lot of
Gloria
everything.
was under the weather.
Yeah.
And she needed some hardcore investigations, examinations, procedures, medications. Both of you got cataract surgery.
Right.
And how much did you pay?
Free.
Zippo.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that is a good thing.
Yes. What about weather?
Well, I was born and raised in Central Valley, so it gets hot in the summertime, fall, get in the wintertime. And I was used to that flat agriculture area. And then here, of course, our ocean, we're coconut trees, and it's a tropical lifestyle, so I'm used to that. But therefore, high desert, rattlesnakes, wake up every morning, open our little trailer, and these little cottontail rabbits scoot along with the coyotes chasing them, you know, 4-legged ones. And the big ravens up in the sky, and the eagles, and oh man, it was awesome. I mean, that's the type of animals that live in the high desert.
But what has it got to do with weather? I didn't ask about the animal.
Well, yeah, I was
you got a reeling back in every now and then.
You forgot about that. Meanwhile, while they're running around, we're freezing our ass off. You know,
okay.
I never bought winter clothes before.
Okay.
I had to buy new wardrobe.
Okay. What about your wifey?
Oh, poor thing.
Did it kill her?
Her arthritis and her health, it felt like it deteriorated a lot because of the weather. It was cold.
Okay.
And when she gets cold, she shakes.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
She didn't have that layer of fat like I do, you know, insulation.
I understand.
So
okay, so you had the weather. What was the best part, I'm going to assume, was seeing the kids, taking a little break, getting away from the knucklehead stuff in the Philippines, change of scenery.
Right.
That's right. Did you get bored out there?
Yeah, if it wasn't for the internet, you know, and my sedentary lifestyle was it day and night. in California, first of all, no matter where you live, you have to have a car. Our kids had cars, but they had work to go to work.
Yes.
And another good thing about the health care is that they had free shuttle service to pick us up, take us to the doctor.
Beautiful.
But Paul, I'm saying to myself, that's getting pretty bad when you get all excited because we're going to go see a doctor today. We're going to get out of the house. We're going to go socialize with her. Hey, Joe, how was your back doing? You know, hey, Mary, how was it? Hey, Doc, good to see you again.
Yeah.
I get to talk with people, but in a medical way.
That gets old in a hurry.
Oh, man.
Was your social life pretty much on a downward spiral there?
Dead, unless
and you're a social creature. You're a guy that likes to get out.
Well, I didn't realize. I think that that's a human trait, to tell you the truth. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had all the human requirements: food, clothing, shelter.
You had the basics.
Had the basics.
Yeah.
But we were existing,
not
living.
Got it.
You can quote me on that.
I will quote you on that. So, let's get into sticker shock for 1 second, because this blew me away when you called me one day on the phone. You said you took your kids out to Denny's.
Yeah, Denny's.
How much was the plate of food for 4 people at Denny's? Do you remember the number?
Altogether?
Yeah.
Plus tax, it was $129.
For 4 people at Denny's.
4 people. Yeah.
Ooh.
So we had all the coffee we could drink. You know.
What about the price of just ordinary stuff? I mean, did you find it to be just off the charts? Because all I hear about now is inflation, inflation, inflation. Even while you were there, inflation, 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 inflation.
Yeah.
You know, so I hear $129 for what I figure you would have paid back in the day when we were growing up there. That would have been 18, 19 bucks to feed 4 people at a Denny's. And so now it's at this crazy $129. Well, you can't do that 3 times a day. I mean, holy moly.
Here's an indication of groceries. Eggs. Have you heard across the...
Yeah, I heard it tampered down, but while you were there, eggs were
how much,
$1 a piece or something like that?
I wish.
Really?
No, wait, I'm sorry, that'd be a dozen. There's a dozen. $1. That'd be I told them, I'm not going to pay more than $10 for eggs. I'm just not going to do it. So if the eggs were $10 above, forget about it.
Wow.
You know,
For
$6, $7, $8, okay, maybe. But $10, no, come on, man. Yeah.
So, you went out there, you got cold, but you got yourself dialed in medically. You saw your kids.
Yeah.
And then, was it just like one day you said, you know what, we've had enough of doing nothing? Or we've accomplished what we're going to do? Or are we getting on our kids' nerves?
Actually, no, there was a certain time, well, I guess it was about December. Our kids, you know, we got an adult boy and a girl, and me and Gloria, so it's basically the 4 adults in our little family, and we have our family meetings, and want to know what is your life, where are you going, where you headed. My daughter just got her master's degree. I'm so proud of her. I mean, she plugged along, you know, years and years, and she finally got it. And she's her degree is in mental health, which she practices on her mom. She says, probably tells her mom she practices on me.
Right.
But you know, so she just finished. Well, I just say finished one stage, the intern, which she's working for free, and then she's going to start. Well, that's going to start on first week in April. That's when she's going to start work. My son is working for this big company, but they may send him overseas around the first week of April. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, they're going to go here, they're going to go there. Maybe we ought to just, you know, what do you think? And I've learned over, you know, in my life that first you put out the possibility, I wonder if I could, just for fun, let's just think about something, you know, just for fun. And then see if the doors open up, stars line up. And so I thought, well, you know, I don't know where we would stay. Airbnb.
Are you talking about coming back here?
Coming back here, yeah. I said, well, what if we came back? What would you think about that? Yeah, she's ready to go yesterday. Really? Yeah. And of course, my concern is her health. But we'll just see how that goes. That's all I can say.
So was that your motivation to come back after 2 years? Was because the kids were heading off?
Yeah. Well, everybody seemed like they were heading off.
Okay.
You know? And we threw out that possibility. We asked the kids, what do you think about us heading back? They said, don't let the
Yeah.
door hit you.
Yeah. What time's your flight?
like Uncle Paul. We'll drive you to the airport.
Yeah.
Well, it's too early. No, it's okay.
No, we want to make sure you're on the plane.
So, bought a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. Hey, a one-way. It never occurred to me, Paul, a one-way ticket. I always thought you have to have well, as everybody should know, to come to the Philippines, unless you're a citizen or a permanent resident,
Right.
you have to have a one-way ticket out.
Right, a throwaway ticket, we call it.
Well,
onward ticket.
it could be a return ticket,
Right.
or it could be, as Paul referenced, what they call a throwaway ticket. Means it's a short trip that
Right.
one way that you
Within
don't really.
30 days.
Yeah. So since we're permanent residents, hey, so I said we'll get a one-way ticket, and then if Paul is as bad as his reputation, and we come back the next week, you know.
Yeah.
But if he behaves, he takes his medication, and he's okay. Then we stay longer.
So that's kind of the summary. Now, is you think, and you don't have to answer this because I'm kind of putting your feet to the fire on this.
Yeah.
But does Gloria, or you, or both of you, do you have a preference as to where you'd like to spend the rest of your life? I mean, if someone put a gun to your head, and let's just say money wasn't an option.
Yeah.
And you could pick either the Philippines or you'd pick America. What do you think would carry the most weight?
You know, there's really not much choice there, Paul.
Okay.
Philippines.
Hands down. Is it because you've developed friendships over here?
Friendship,
Is it because you've
the
developed
lifestyle,
routines?
it's easy. It's not paradise.
Nope.
But, we can get around. She's independent. I can't, stress how much that means to us.
Mm-hmm.
Socialization, she's the ate, the older sister, and and maybe it comes down to, as I'm thinking about it, she's a big fish in a little pond.
Yep.
She's a little bitty fish there in a big pond.
Right.
So, there's some sort of psychological...
I have to follow up. What was your impression of people when you did get into Walmart or you did get into town?
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference, if there was any? You hear a lot on the news, which that gets glorified as open hostility and protests and all that. I mean, I just take that and throw it out the window because that might be a little circles, you know. But were people there? My vision of what they're like now is that they kind of look down at their feet when they're walking. It's not that they're ignoring you, it's they're not even aware of you. That people are under a lot of pressure, they're under a lot of stress, they're in a hurry. Totally different from here where nobody's in a hurry and everybody's, hi, how are you? As you're walking by. Did you notice that, or is my envisionment incorrect?
Well, it may have been because we were locked up in that 20-foot trailer for 2 years that I wouldn't let them ignore me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going there?
Yeah.
Oh, the greeter. Hey, how you doing? Oh, good. How's the weather today? Everybody was super friendly.
Cool.
And the customers go, hey, how's it going? Hey, can you tell me where the bread? Yeah, right down there. Okay, thanks. Now, I don't know if, like I said, it's because I'm forcing them to be friendly, but they were friendly.
So you didn't get any pushback when you said hi to somebody, some stranger, just walking down the street?
No, not at all.
And you'd say, hi, hey, how you doing today?
Yeah, no.
As you're passing
Everybody
on Main
was
Street.
friendly.
And they were cool.
They were cool.
Awesome.
Every place, Walmart, in and out of it. And the thing that, the only thing that was kind of a downer was the homeless in San Diego. I'm not really used to seeing, I know there's people that are poverty-stricken here and stuff.
Sure.
But that so many tents on the sidewalk.
Is there really?
Oh, man.
And you didn't see that 12 years ago?
Well, I didn't live in this area.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't see it, where we lived before, no.
Right.
So, that may be part of the big city.
I think that's intensified quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what causes that. If it's drug use or if it's economy, or inflation, I have no clue.
Yeah.
Or just bad decisions. I honestly don't know.
No, that's a problem that I don't know how to fix it. But it's kind of a sad situation.
Okay, so last question, and I know how you're going to answer this, is Do you plan to stay here in the Philippines until the bitter end?
Well, I give you a little hint before that we are honestly playing it by ear.
Okay.
We really are.
Okay.
My inclination is staying here. After we get Gloria, I mean, we only been here a few days, so we're trying to get her doctors lined up. She had a kidney doctor before we left, Dr. Cole, and she's going to see him Monday. And I'm a little bit nervous on what he has to say, but they're good. You know, the doctors are friendly.
Sure.
So, but they tell the truth, at least the ones that we've experienced. So if the news is good, I'll be happy. If it's not good, we're gonna just, we have to just decide. She doesn't, even though at worst comes the worst, she doesn't really want to go back.
She doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to go back to the States.
She does not.
No.
This is home.
This is home.
So that's my last question. Is because I know what I always say when I leave the country for whatever reason. Whenever I leave here and goes there. You were born and raised in America. You're a true-blooded American. You're a Navy veteran. You worked there. You were a teacher. You had a career. The whole enchilada. When you go back to America, or you go back to sleepy little Dumageddon, which one feels like home?
This one actually, Dumageddon, feels like home. And I'll say again, it's not paradise, but it's welcome to Dumageddon. That's what I would say.
Yeah. It's an interesting little dynamic because, Dumageddon gets a lot of negative feedback from other people that there's so many vloggers here and this and that, and they call it Dramageddon, which is so far from the truth. But anyway, I've always said the same thing, and I'll just end it with this. No matter where I go, I went back to America 3 years ago. I took trips to, like you have, to Vietnam. I've been out to Indonesia, gone out to Thailand. And after a certain amount of time, I go, you know what? I just want to go home. And when I think of the word home, I think of here in the Philippines, not Las Vegas or Los Angeles, where I was raised and born.
Actually, I don't say, I know guys said, well, I need to go home for this or that. I'm saying, I am home. I say go back to America, go back to the States, go back to Campo, California, but not go back
Not to go home. No. So home is where the heart is, and your heart lies right here in little Dumageddon.
That's right.
Thanks for coming by, bud.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Paul.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
See you guys in the next video.
Don't give up on the gold award.
Well, if you really want to see my silver award, just look at my Tinder profile.
Oh, all right.